over through a deep sense of faith because Africans had a sense of religion. African spirituality is quite deep. Power and thunder and battle, Yemiwa, Ifa, these are names you've heard of. And then going forward in the diaspora in the Caribbean, what is the connection with African religion and Vodou in Haiti? That is essentially an African religion mixed with Christianity and Catholicism. What happens in Cuba? Santeria. No, it's not a pagan religion, it's actually related to African religion. So we're going to demonstrate, I'm going to take the issue of faith and how we got over in terms of the sense of song and faith mix and showcase some of the early recordings. This is a very small sampling of some of the early recordings that I brought from my collection. To demonstrate is actually a recording from the, I'm going to say from about 1927, a preacher there's not a whole lot known about him, but Reverend Campbell was incredible. He's in the Deep South, and there's an energy in what I'm going to just sample, not the whole thing, that tells you a lot, and it's very relevant to today as well. And it's played on a machine that dates from about 1925.
So without faith it's impossible to please God. Because you read in that same chapter, the 11th chapter of the Hebrews, without faith it's impossible to please God. But I want to say to you tonight, if you have not faith, it's impossible for you to please God. Lord, picture before your eyes that you remember the man by the name of Abraham. Had a son by the name of Isaac. God told Abraham to offer his own son Isaac. Abraham obeyed the Spirit of God. Could you see when he made him a horse? And his son came behind him. Yes! Had him been there, he would not die. But this father said, oh, Father, where's your protection? Why, Father? Got your car built. Got your car built. Where is that?
Up until, let's say, when electricity came in, better for machines, which I would say was maybe in the early 30s. But this is one of those classic tabletop wind-ups. So what I'm doing is I'm cranking so that the motor continues and that the speed is correct. So hold on, we'll finish with one more.
Good morning, brother Pilgrim. Pray tell me where you bound. Oh, tell me where you traveling through on a disenchanted ground. My name it is, old Pilgrim, to Canaan I am bound. Traveling through this wilderness on a disenchanted ground. That morning, God look at the battle of Jericho. Oh, yeah, God look at the battle of Jericho. And the wolf came coming down. That morning, God look at the battle of Jericho. Oh, yeah. Jericho and the wolf came coming down.
This is the 5th Jubilee Singer, one of the earliest recordings of Essex's Song of Will.
Grace of God, we will
looking at the fact that we go from Africa in the diaspora, we end up, as many of us end up in Cuba, being forced to adopt Catholicism, which for Africans, enslaved Africans in Cuba, becomes Santeria, a mix of Catholicism and African spirituality. In Haiti, of course, Vodou or Voodoo, the same. But faith in the Southern Plantation is a combination of the remembrance of African spirituality and African religion, as well as the exposure to the colonial, because remember we're still the 13 colonies, the colonial slave masters who were generally from England, who were Calvinists or Lutherans, you know, and so what was the essence of what they were listening to when they were going to their church services and bringing slaves with them were the messages and the stories of the Old Testament, the Hebrew Bible. So you'll see and you're hearing in this particular example, you know, references to Abraham, reference to, you know, the book of Hebrews, references to Moses, Jonah, David. These are all Old Testament, and this is really the anchor, really the foundation, if you will, of African American spirituality as well as the Black church, is the stories out of the Hebrew Bible. So I'm going to go on to another one that relates to this, because all the spirituals that were a part of this whole journey to freedom, especially in the Underground Railroad, are all sourced out of the Hebrew Bible. Go down Moses. That's the Hebrew Bible. Ezekiel saw the will. Ezekiel, you know, saw the will. That's again Ezekiel out of the Old Testament. You know, I'm thinking of Joshua fit the Battle of Jericho. What a classic. You know, certainly also a classic subject for a sermon. Yeah. So all of this is really part of our identity, and these are some of the early recordings, the first recordings of these songs. Hold on.